All right, hello and welcome to this webinar training. I'm here with Pratik Gela from Pressmate, and I met Pratik at a WordCamp in Portland, Maine, and he's a man of many talents. He's built some incredible stuff with LifterLMS. He's also an expert at website speed and speed optimization, especially for WordPress sites. I'm really excited to get into this free training with you today. This is being recorded, so if you can't stay for the whole time, you will get a replay sent to you if you registered for this webinar. If you are here though live, we are doing a $99 LifterLMS giveaway at the end, which gives you any product at $99 off. If you're already a LifterLMS customer and you win, we'll extend your license out the value of $99. This is an interactive webinar. If you have questions, please use the chat or the Q&A box and enjoy this presentation with Pratik. Pratik, thanks so much for coming on for the LifterLMS audience. I'm excited to get into it with you today.
No problem. So, yep. So I was just checking your website, the one that you sent me, which is in my academy. So I want to ask you one question: Is where are you on what continent are you hosting this website?
You're asking me?
Yep.
The academy.lifterlms.com.
Yep.
That one, I believe, is hosted in the United States.
Great. So let me share with you the results for this. Let me share my screen. So can you see my screen?
I can.
All right. So now you can see that I just did a test from Orlando, Florida, and that is by using a cable internet, which is like somewhere about like 30 megabytes of internet connection.
Okay.
So here you can see that it takes about 5.4 seconds for your website to load. So while you want to test your website, the best way to do that is by using this website called webpagetest.org. I will post that in the over here in the chat. So where's the chat?
I can put it in there for you.
Okay. So it's webpagetest.org. Okay, I got this Q&A. So where is the chat? Did you put that?
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Oh, cool.
If you click exit full screen, you can then access the chat and the other stuff a little easier.
Yeah. How do you do that?
It's at the top. You have to hover in the top middle, and then you'll see the bar drop down that gives you some options.
Okay, yeah, I got chat. Okay. Yeah, so it's webpagetest.org. So now when I see that here so whenever you will do this, you get an option to so what I'll do is I'll go to this website, and you have to enter your website URL over here, and then you can select the test location. So this can be like the North America, South America, Europe. So if you are if you have a major clientele in Europe, you can select this from this various data centers, because you really don't want want people from Australia to load their website fast. If your customer base, like 90% of customer base is in Europe, you will really want the clients from Europe seeing the website first, and then you will worry about someone on the other side of the continent. So that's what I did with your website. And whenever you run this test, you get 5 parameters. So one of them is the first byte time. So this is the time that actually the browser gets. So suppose I take this URL and I put it in the the browser. So now I have to wait, and then the website comes. So that's basically the first time to first byte. So there are various names for this. Many people tell it as TTFB, that is time to first byte, or the first byte time. So this should be ideally between, like, say, half sec like 300 to 700 milliseconds. So if you see this, your first byte is somewhere about 1.7 seconds. So the user has to wait for, like, say, 1.7 seconds, just for something to come back from the server. While ideally your website should load in like 2 seconds. So then there is like keep alive enabled. So keep alive is basically a score that people give to the data that is cached on your browser. So you basically don't want all the images to keep on loading again and again. So keep alive basically keeps the content within your browser for a certain period of time. So that score is good. Then there is a compressed transfer. So there are few things like gzip compression, and where all the minification and all these things, which if you do really like improves the speed of the website. So the another website to check your gzip compression, is you can do that online. So do like check gzip compression. So yeah, so Warby, you can go here and you can test this. So right now, it says that there is no compression on your website. So you will probably revisit this on how to do it. So, and then you need to compress your images, which you have done, which is really good. And then there is caching. So you are not caching the content, like nothing is being cached on your website right now. So this is the assets. All of these are the assets that needs to be cached, but they are not. And then finally, there is a CDN, which means a content delivery network. So CDN is basically what CDN does is it takes all of your resources, and it just replicates the resources to multiple data centers across the globe. So suppose if the visitor is coming from India and there is the data center in, like, say, Mumbai. So whenever a visitor comes to the website, what the CDN does is it tries to find the location of the data center nearest to that particular user, and serves all the data from the closest data center. So the CDN that we use is Cloudflare, because Cloudflare is a really good CDN to go ahead with. So now we will see like how, what we'll do is I will export your website. Wait, I think I have the website from Carlos too. So let me see. So let's see like which website has the least score, and then the one that has the least score and that takes the maximum time. We will try to optimize that. Okay.
Sounds good. So while
So
he's getting that ready, I just wanted to welcome, we got some more people jumping in. We've got Ziv, Syed, Sheldon, Paul, Kurt, Jack, Douglas, Donna, another Kurt, Carlos, Arnold, and Amy. We also had a question on Facebook from Jennifer Navarte about, does this matter which browser you're using? She was asking about Safari versus Google or whatever. Does this all hold true dependent no matter what browser you're on in terms of speed?
I really don't think it does. So I have a question for Carlos. So Carlos, where is your server hosted, and what are you trying to, like? Where is your user base? Okay.
A2 hosting in the
Okay.
European Union.
Okay, in the European Union. Okay. So let's try this. Let's try to. So is it fine if I run a test from, say, Amsterdam?
Are you asking for permission, Pratik?
Yeah, yeah, I was, no, fine. I already ran the test because
Okay.
if it's European Union, I think we're good with it.
How was the test from Amsterdam?
It's still running.
Oh, it's still running. Okay. I don't believe you're sharing your screen anymore, just FYI.
Yeah, no, so because I'm trying to access Carlos backend, so yeah,
Uh,
I'm sure.
I see. I see. So it looks like we have the Elementor page builder running. We've got Lifter, probably a bunch of other plugins too.
Yeah, but I think that Carlos has a good speed. It's like the website is loading like 3.5 seconds. So, but still, the time to first byte is somewhere roughly around 1.1 second. Admin custom login.
That's a fair number of plugins.
That's like 20 active plugins. So the one suggestion that I have is I would rather get rid of a plugin for a 404 page. I would have someone code that for me. I'd also get rid of admin custom login because, but admin custom login, like admin page does not make much of a difference. Then admin minimize visually compresses the meta boxes so that more admin page content can be initially seen. Okay. Big blue button and different bloggers to create and manage meeting. Cookie note. So you can get rid of the cookie notice plugin. You can have someone just code a small bar for you because each time you have a plugin, the plugin tries to go in and pull all the data. So what happens is when the website is loading, the WordPress has to go to that particular plugin and get the data from that plugin and combine it with your HTML, CSS. So get rid of cookie notice. Easy Google fonts. You go to fonts.google.com and ask your theme developers to take this font, and then uh, if you select this font, it is pretty easy to customize it and have it embedded on your website. So try to, if you can, and hire a good developer, you can get rid of these two plugins. Then LifterLMS tab, that's fine. Loco translate, that's fine. uh,
Carlos was asking in the chat, like how to do the cookie notice himself, and you're saying you really, if you're not a developer, you need a good developer
yeah,
to
YouTube.
do it for it. Can you explain again, like why sometimes some custom code makes your site faster as opposed to a plugin?
So here is my client's website, and you can just see the speed of this website. And it has got all this fancy videos. So we have coded this website like from bottom up, and you can see the speed of this entire website. So and then we have did fair amount of customization. So when you click login, you have things like this coming in. And as soon as you log in, you are brought back to the same page, and then the view for the user who has purchased this changes completely. So this is a custom design, and this whole what do you say, website is like custom. We if you see the plugins that we are using them only if it's needed. So we have like 28 active plugins, but none of them. But there are like so many different things to do on this website. Has got events, then it has got LifterLMS and WooCommerce together. So there are all these WooCommerce plugins. So what this client actually wanted was when someone tries to buy a course, he should basically skip the whole cart thing. So there were plugins for skipping the cart, but still you can see that this website loads super quick. So this is the final aim that we go for, and only because we are coding it ourselves, we can kind of achieve this. Then WhatsApp me. You can just like Updraft Plus. Are you backing your website to like say a different server, or you are just having it on your own server? Where are you backing it up, Carlos? So because if you are okay, yeah, good that you maintain a copy on Google Drive. Yep. So I think we have two websites right now. So Carlos has a good first time bite, and still he's not caching uh, his assets, and he's not using the CDN. But I will skip this because the Academy website has got more load time, and it has got more spaces to like kind of have improvements. So this will give us an in-depth um, into what needs to be done. So let's go with your website. Carlos, I have to skip your website, I'm sorry.
That's good. That means he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, he is doing pretty good. All you need to do is just have a CDN, and just cache your content, because once you start caching in, I believe that you will have a better first bite, I think.
Pratik, I have a question for you about caching.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of people advising like LMS websites or membership websites
Mm-hmm.
to not use caching plugins because people have like whenever there's a login and there's all these different states, there's certain parts of your website that you don't want to cache. And
So
sometimes people end up with these problems where they install a caching plugin and then they start getting reports from their students that they can't log in or the password reset isn't working and all this stuff. Can you speak to that? How to do it correctly?
no, so I think that's a big misconception, that caching, because caching is, what you can do is, I use this plugin called WP Fastest Cache, and
Yeah.
what it essentially does is you can control what parts do you want to cache. Suppose if the user is logged in, you probably don't want to show him the cached version. You can just show them the live version. So there are various ways. I can come back to the configuration. So now what I'm doing is I'm exporting your website.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is another website that I have set up over here. It's called lmsspeed.3sdemo.com. So that's so the one thing to really take into consideration is your server configuration. So if you are running like uh, 25 different plugins, and you are probably hosting it on a shared server, I won't name any of the server companies, but if you're hosting it on like say $5, $10 hosting companies, don't expect a good site speed, because um, all of these hosting companies that sell it for $1 or $2, they give you the shared servers. So that what happens is that all these companies are dumping like 100 sites on one server of like say uh, 20 gigabytes of RAM. So your site ends up getting like 200 or 400, max to max 500 megabytes of RAM. So they tell you that the server has like 5 GB of RAM, but actually that 5 GB is shared by 20 different websites, so you don't get the real 5 GB. So what we do is, this website is hosted on a server with a 4 GB of RAM. So you can even see the speed of installation. Like when I click on install a particular plugin, you can see, and if I activate it, you can see the speed at which it activates and installs the plugin and everything. Because this site is probably getting a good amount of RAM, and it's only getting the 4 GB that the server has. It's being given only to this particular website. So now you can see that I'm trying to download this, and I'm not even getting a good amount of download speed. Probably I am getting like 150 kilobytes.
Pratik, while we're waiting for that to process, there's a comment on Facebook that Helmi is requesting that you make a course about this. So I think the demand for site speed and how people can fix that is something people really want to learn, or they just want to hire somebody to do, or have a better, faster, hosting.
I'm starting my own hosting company.
All right. What's that called?
It's so we are in plans to
Okay.
so Pressmate actually began as a WordPress maintenance service, but we found out that many people had issues with WordPress speed. So we are getting Pressmate. We are moving Pressmate away from WordPress maintenance into customized hosting company
With a
where,
focus on speed.
with the focus on speed. Yeah. So all the hosting companies, what they do is they basically just give you the configuration that you ask for. But the way we are a bit different is that we take your website, we analyze it, we see why is it slow. We try to improve the speed, bring it down. So if you are loading like 10 seconds, our aim would be to bring it down to 4 to 5 seconds. So cut it in half. That's what our aim is. And once we do that, we also host and maintain the websites. So that's something that we are getting into, but that's probably in like after the summers, so somewhere about like September or something like that. Because
Cool.
right now I have few clients to manage, so I'm just trying to find out a way to scale, because I really don't want to host like a million websites. All I want to do is like have like few hundred websites with me. That's it.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a neat that's a neat niche or focus for a hosting company. Speed is, that's one of the chief complaints about WordPress.
So it's I think it's less to do with WordPress. It's more to do with how you are building your websites, how many plugins you're using. So there are so many factors that impact your entire site speed. And the bad thing that I really feel bad for WordPress is everyone says, oh wow, this is WordPress, that's why it's slow. So that's the biggest misconception that everyone has in their mind.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So we really need to understand that WordPress, you cannot have a good website by just dumping in few plugins, and with these plugins like Elementor, Visual Composer. The issue is that they are really good for the users, but the kind of code that these companies really output is so bad. So just in case, is this website built on Elementor? So I can show it to you visually that what do I mean by the code. So if you see something that is built using the, so now can you see this? I can
Yes.
zoom.
Yeah, we could see the inspector.
Yeah, so if you see this, then to load this line of code, like this one div element, you can see like there are so many div elements all the way from top.
Is that because of is that because we're using a page builder?
Yeah, because that's because you're using Elementor.
Okay.
Okay, that's one straight question right out there. So this whole thing now I can show it to you on this website of how you can get rid of these kind of stuff. So suppose this is the website that we have.
Are you using a page builder there?
No, we are not. So I'll just take you. So suppose this is the section that we have. Okay, and now here you can see there's just one div, an image, and a h2 tag. So this section, because the design was so much decided of how this thing needs to be designed, we were able to code much cleaner version. So now you can see all of these things, they are so clean, like they have so less code in them. So this is what I feel that should be. If you start doing this, then you really won't have much. You cut down your speed issues by like 50%. So the main issue is that we are using WordPress the wrong way. So the thing was that there were plugins, but now you have like plugin for everything. I have had people use plugin for things as stupid as just changing the, what do you say, just changing your
Like the
file.
site credits?
No, yeah, anything.
Yeah. So are you saying that you don't recommend using page builders?
I don't,
Yeah.
not at all.
So how does somebody we just have a comment from Jack about like hand coding might not be he's just saying um like hand coding isn't an option for everybody.
Yeah, so that's why I'm trying to help you guys out today. So like my academy, now let's try to. So that's one way of starting out. I'm not saying that's the only way. So now let's see the results side by side.
Yeah.
Like we had this on your server, and now we moved this on a server with the configuration of 4 GB of RAM.
So better
So I have a server
hosting.
in
So what you're saying
better,
is better hosting is huge for speed, right?
it's a huge. So you can see the difference right away. And then I will perform some more optimizations on this.
I have a question for you about that. Is is managed WordPress hosting always going to be faster than shared hosting?
Yep, it is. But it
Okay.
really depends on where you procure it from. So if you're buying it from a good company like WP Engine or like say Pantheon, yep, you're going to have definitely good results. But it really does not depend just on, but if you think that by changing the hosting, it's your site speed is going to improve, maybe it can or maybe it cannot. So there's no guarantee that going for a managed hosting is going to improve your site speed like 5 times or something. Nothing, no guarantee for that. So we have like so many tests lined up over here. So we need to find a location where there are still, okay. So now let's come here. So there are two ways to test your WordPress website speed. So one is by going to this website where you have like webpagetest.org. What you can do is you can turn on the inspect element of your website before you load your website, and then you go to the network tab, and you open your website. So here you can get the complete details of when. So can you see this?
Yes.
Yep. So here it says that the website was loaded in like 3.5 seconds. It's probably because I am in India right now. But if you check the same link on your end, it will be much faster. And then what you can do is you can have a video recorded for your website loading. So this will really help you in understanding how a visitor gets to see your website. So here you can see that so at 5 milliseconds. Oh, okay. So now you can see that the website is loading in like 1.8 seconds over here. So because
Just by being on the better hosting.
yeah, and your home page is loading in like 1.25 seconds. And we will check the results here on web page test, and then we will try to optimize it much by doing further things. I'm trying to do an audit. Yeah, this is what I was looking. So there is this another tool within the Chrome inspect element, which is called audit. So this really helps you in understanding how good. So you just open your website and then you click on run audits. So you can select, you probably don't want to have progressive web apps. You don't want to, and here you can select if you want a fast 3G, or you want a simulated 3G, or you want no throttling. So throttling basically tries to adjust your internet speed. So let's run with no throttling, and then let's do it with by throttling it. And then you can decide if you want to check this on mobile or on desktop. So now you see that the performance is like 84%. And let's try the same thing with your website. So you don't even have like an HTTPS.
This is like it's like a test site. I'm not even sure where it's hosted, but yeah, it doesn't have HTTPS.
Okay, cool. So you see your performance on your server is like 65, and
Yeah.
just by changing the server, our performance went all the way to 84. And here you can see, if you click on view trace, you can probably see how your website looked to the user. So I will, if you need to hover this, and then when you do that, it starts showing you the screenshots. So somewhere in like here, the website started showing up for the users. So this the lighthouse tool is really useful. It's way too technical, but if you really want to understand your users, it's probably the best thing to have. So here you can see that the server, basically the browser received the byte from the server at somewhere like 650 milliseconds. And then from 650 milliseconds all the way to 1500 milliseconds, the user did not see anything. All the user saw was a blank page.
For
So some
15 seconds?
for 1500 milliseconds, that's like 1.5 second. So you can see that, hold on. So you can see that at 1.5 second, the user started seeing welcome to the academy and all this content. And then somewhere about at like 2 seconds, your logo came up. So this is the way you analyze. And now if I see the same thing on your server, I can see that all the way starting from here, for first 4500 milliseconds, that is 4.5 seconds, the user was not able to see anything. So you can imagine the kind of frustration user had for those 5 seconds. He was like, why am I not seeing anything? And you really don't want your users to be staying and trying to figure out, oh, what's going to happen. So you are basically leaving your users confusing in a confused state. So this thing is called the first pint. That means that so there's two different definitions where people often get confused. One is the time to first byte, and the another one is the time to first paint. So those two things are different. So time to first byte is when the browser receives the first byte of HTML from the server, and the time to first paint is when the user sees something meaningful on the screen. So your time to first paint should be somewhere about 1.2 to 1.5 seconds. So here your time to first paint is like somewhere about 4.5 seconds, which is horrible.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the insights with Lightspeed. And now let's go to webpagetest.org and see. Woo. So you see, just by changing the server and adding a CDN, your FFF got changed to BAA just by changing the server. So server is like plays a major role. So now initially your website was loading in like 4.7 seconds. Now it's loading in like 2.8 seconds.
So we have a question from Donna. I don't know if you want to speak to it. She's asking if her hosting company, inmotionhosting.com, is any good. I know it's hard to answer that question. I mean, maybe Donna, you could post a link to your site and we could run it through the test.
Yeah, we personally, I would like to give my opinion about hosting companies, like individual hosting companies.
You would like to or would not like to?
I would not like to. I would like to stay away.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, it's really dependent on the site, and not every server at the same hosting company is the same, and it depends what plan you're on. And yeah, it's a very complicated issue. It's not just a brand. Is this brand good or is this brand good?
Yep. So now we will try to get this first byte time reduced. And to do that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install a caching plugin. So the one that I use, it's called WP Fastest Cache.
Oh, this is great. And I wonder if you could show us how to make sure not to like mess up anything that LMS sites do with user login and all that.
Sure, I'll show that to you. So now once you're done, you have this WP Fastest Cache icon at the extreme bottom with a cheetah over there. So you click that, and then you enable the cache system. Then you create the cache of the entire site. So here you can decide like what all. So you can select all of these. So this creates a cache for each of these particular. It automatically keeps on creating cache. Now you see it says logged in users, and it says don't show the cached version for logged in users.
So
and
that's how you protect yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this will basically not show any kind of cached version to your logged in users. then don't show the cached version for the desktop to the mobile devices. So what this basically does is it creates two different caches, one for the mobile version and one for the desktop. So you probably don't want to show your desktop version cache to the mobile devices. So just take this on,
Can
and
you
then
explain what that means?
so you can, so sometimes you know, like there are different CSS for desktop and different CSS for mobile, like in the
Yep.
responsive websites. So maybe there can be a chance that the caching plugin just creates a cache of the desktop version of the website, and while serving it over to a mobile user, it might just show up the CSS of the desktop to the mobile user, and it can just break the entire responsiveness. So
I
you
see.
you probably don't want to do that. So these all these things are pretty much self-explanatory. Like whenever you create a new post, you want to create the cache files for that post when it is published. Then update, when you update that particular post, you want to update its cache because you might have changed the content or something like that. Then there is minifying HTML, minifying CSS, and then when you use combined CSS and combined JS, you probably want to try this out and make sure that it does not mess up with your design or the functionality. Then you have the gzip compression. This is basically the gzip compression that I was talking to you about. So everything that is being transferred over the from server to the browser, it is zipped and then sent. So like if you have the HTML, the entire HTML is zipped and all those things. So you can have browser caching. So what this does is it saves each and every image, JS file, CSS on your browser to, and then so whenever you have repeater visitors, it does not load each and every component on your website every time. Then you can use, there are emoji and wp-emoji.min.js files, so you can just remove them. And all the other things that you see over here are for the premium version. So the premium version is like $49. I have the premium version with me, so I will just upload it to this site. But now let's try and see the site speed after enabling caching. So I will just take this. So when you after you are done with enabling the cache, you need to generate the cache once. So how do you do that? Um, is by running the website once. And now, so when you do the first run of your website or the home page, it generates the cache and tells you that. So now I will just, and you see the speed. And if I go in and do an audit now, so you see our performance went from 84 to 96.
Wow.
And now if you view the trace, we can see that when what the users were, so this went.
So they got the whole site in 1/4 of a second, right?
Yep. So now we saw this on Lighthouse, and now what we'll do is we will rerun this test to see if we brought down the time to first byte.
Ziv is asking in the Facebook comments. He's getting all A's on web page test except for the first byte to load. Is it what's the, does caching help first byte to load?
Yep, it does.
Yeah.
Because you don't, once you enable caching, your browser does not need to go to to the server every time to fetch all the resources.
We also have a comment from Amy that not all web hosts allow caching plugins. Like, what's the difference between having a caching plugin versus having a managed host that does server-side caching? Like, how are they different? Are they both trying to do the same thing?
I don't think so, because server side caching is caching on the server, and browser side is basically storing all your data locally. So server caching is something that CDN does, like it caches all your all your elements on the server. But when you do browser caching, everything is saved on the browser of the user. So now you saw that as I enabled the caching, our site speed went down from like 2.7 seconds to 2.5 seconds. So we saved like 200 milliseconds. So remember this, whenever you do like optimization of your website speed, it does not happen at once. You get your improvements in like 50, 100 milliseconds, 200 milliseconds. That's how you go. So now we saved like 200 milliseconds over here. So here you can see that this was your server. The first byte was coming in like at 1.7 seconds, and when we moved it to my server, it went all the way down to 0.5 seconds. So the time to first byte is kind of reduced. It's 1/3 now. So that's where we are saving a lot. And your site is loading without an HTTPS, and while this is loading with an HTTPS. So now one thing, what you need to do after this thing loads is you click on this section that says waterfall. When you click here, you will see something in red. So this means that this particular thing is missing. So you need to make sure that you have as less 404 errors on your website, because what happens is when you have a 404 error, like if you have an image missing on your website, what server does is it tries to wait for that particular resource to load. So here you can see that it's trying to wait for a long amount of time. So now what I'm going to do is it's waiting for this particular favicon.ico file. So I'm just going to go in and download a favicon.ico file from somewhere. It does not matter what that file is. And I'm going to upload it to my root folder. So make sure that you don't have 404 errors on your website, because it's really going to give you a tough time in improving your site speed.
Why the 404 error to slow it down?
Because your browser tries to keep on it tries to keep on waiting even after knowing that it's not going to come.
So it's like an infinite loop?
Yeah, no, not an infinite loop. It stops after some time.
Okay.
But it takes time for it to realize that it's not going to come back.
Okay.
So now what I'll do is I'll try to rerun this test. Until that happens, let's try to upload the premium version of WP Fastest Cache now.
What's the biggest benefit to the premium version?
You'll see now. So all the minification and all those things that we saw, premium version takes it to a different level. And what it does, if you have like say, if I see this particular waterfall model, so you can see that we have different, like say, there are these many JS files you can see over here.
Yeah.
So what this particular file, the premium version does is it takes all the JS files and compresses it into one JS file. So if you have more number of plugins, there are more JavaScript files, and what happens is you have like 20 JavaScript files. So what browser does, it goes to the server and says, hey, I want this file. So server says, yeah, I'm going to give it, wait. So there is a time wasted in first of all going from the browser, requesting the server making the browser wait, and then giving it back. So just imagine if you have like say 200 milliseconds of request time and 200 milliseconds of wait time, roughly half second, and there are like 20 to 25 different plugins. It's like 10 seconds of wait time just to call all those JavaScript files.
Wow.
If you are using HTTP 1 with HTTP 2 version 2, what server does is it gives files to the browser in parallel. Like it can give like 20 different files at once to the browser. But with HTTP 1.1, what happened is that browser used to get file one by one. So server will give one CSS file, then the second one, then the third. So more number of CSS and JavaScript files, the more number of waiting time. But HTTP 2 has really helped solve this problem. But it's always better to have as less JavaScript and CSS files as possible. So now coming back to your question is how the premium version helps. It helps by combining all the JS files into least number of JS files possible. All right, so now I have the premium version enabled. So as soon as you enable the premium version, you have this new thing. So here you can see in the normal version, you have only Minify HTML, but with premium version, you have the Minify HTML plus. Then you have the Minify CSS. So you have Minify CSS plus, then you have Minify JS. And this is the most important thing that I was talking to you about, is about combining the multiple JSS files into one. And then you have remove render blocking CSS, JS, and then you have the Google Fonts asynchronous loading. So what happens is that when you load Google Fonts on your website, it's kind of, it loads synchronously. So while your CSS and JS and everything is loading, Google Fonts also try to load, which ultimately increases your site speed. So when you say load asynchronously, it happens only when your particular website needs this particular font. That's the time when Google Fonts are going to load. Then lazy load is like it will load the images and iframes only when they enter the viewport, and I can explain that to you. So if you see this website right now, and I say suppose I go to courses,
click on the that first course. It has a lot of images on it.
okay. So when you say you want to lazy load, what it basically does is right now this particular image that is behind the student feedback, it is not showing up right away on the screen when it's loading. It's way down below. So what lazy load does is it loads only those images that come up when you load the page and is on the screen. And when you scroll down, it loads your image. So it basically lazy load won't load this particular image. It will load it only when it comes into the viewport. So I'm going to enable all these functions and submit this. And now let's see the performance. So we were at 96, I think.
You're going for an A+. You're going for perfect, I think.
Yeah, I think now we'll have fun. So we were checking with homepage. So let's keep doing that so we don't have mixed results. Yep. So we got 100 in performance.
Oh, nice job.
So now if you see the trace now, so you can see that initially we were loading somewhere in like the first meaningful paint was at like 1.5 seconds. If you see this whole chart now, the user starts seeing the website at like somewhere about 500 milliseconds. That's like they see the website
Half a
within the
second.
half a second.
Amazing. That's a
So
lot better. We started at, I believe it was 4.5 seconds. Something.
yeah, yeah, it was 4.5 seconds. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rerun this test. Let's try to rerun this test. So we will do it without the so this results are for without premium version of WP fastest cache, and this one will be after installing the premium version of WP fastest cache. So you see, like this is below 2 seconds now. Initially, this was somewhere about 2.2 seconds, which has gone all the way down to 1.9 seconds. So we started from 4.7 to 2.8 to 2.2 to 1.9 seconds.
Wow.
So that's what the difference is. You use a better host, you do caching. Now, so here it says that the first byte is still not that great. So I think now we cannot do much about it, but we should be happy that it's loading in 1.9 seconds. So this is how you optimize your websites.
We've got a question from the audience. Arnold here has posted a link. Could you maybe run this through the web page performance test? This is Arnold's website, and he
I got that.
he said it's taken him 10 seconds or something like that. And I mean, without logging in and fixing a bunch of stuff, could maybe speak to what Arnold could do. We can tell just watching that it's taken a while.
Yep. I personally will get rid of this effect because it's too distracting, like this whole thing. Like the way this whole thing is coming up over here. It's like taking a lot of GPU for me.
I think that's one of the challenges of page builders is they allow you to add a lot of animations,
Yeah.
which you have to be careful with.
Yeah, I think I'm running the page speed. So it's taking him somewhere about 11 seconds.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, but if you see this, the first byte is somewhere about coming in like 4.2 seconds. And you can see, even without seeing the backend, I'm pretty sure that you're using a lot and lot of plugins, because if you see this, there are so many JavaScript files over here. So you see this, like you have slide, and then you're using Revolution slider. Again, I don't like that plugin at all. Then this is fine. You're using Facebook customer chat. I think you're also use. Get a better host, I would say, that can help you to bring it down to like 4 to 5 seconds after.
Yeah,
The,
I have a question about that. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're going shopping for hosting, or if you're reading reviews, there might be affiliates involved or whatever. Like, how do you determine what a better host is? Like, how do you know, or what kind of like features are you looking for?
so I've stopped doing this. Like I've stopped working with any or taking servers from any of these companies. What I did is I did learn a bit of server management on how to install the SSL certificates by yourself. So I use a lot of SSH. So you need to learn a bit of Linux, and then it helps. So I now what I do is I buy the VPS server directly from the data center. I don't, but it's not advisable for anyone who really does not know how to do a server management, because the server that I'm using, it does not have cPanel. It's got nothing. So
Yeah.
it's a bare-bones server. So you can be like, you need to learn a lot of server management if you are using it directly from a server company, like from the data centers, which I do, and that's a reason you're getting this kind of speeds. And now, if I see this, like the way this entire site is, you can see, you just need to click, and you can see the that while I'm going from one page to the another page, the speed is so good.
Yeah.
You don't even need to worry about it. Like it loads in the blink, with the blink of an eye, in a second. This is because now WP fastest cache is essentially making the entire copy of this page and serving it to the user. So it does not have to go back to the WordPress and tell, hey, WordPress, give me this page. It just does it and gives a copy of it with himself. So that really helps you with the page speed.
Very cool, Pratik. Well, thank you so much for taking us to school on that. We've learned a lot. Um, I'm just
And
looking to, if anybody has any more questions, go ahead and drop them in. Um, I'm just looking for
so if
any other questions. We do have a question about Gutenberg WordPress 5.0 editor. Um, is that like, I think the question from Kurt is the Gutenberg page builder any better from a speed perspective compared to the page building plugins?
again, it depends on what you're using, because Gutenberg is no doubt trying to make it better. Uh, but again, so if you're using some theme that is trying to add their own blocks on top of Gutenberg, you need to be careful with the type of HTML these blocks produce. If the HTML is not that optimized, you might end up in the with the same problem. But if you're using Gutenberg blocks, something that come with Gutenberg, I think you should be good. It's always, I think, better than the other page builders like Elementor or Visual Bakery. I feel this of these things should be illegal. You should not be allowed to use them.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of like if you're a minimalist, like that's what I always advise: use the minimal amount of plugins that you can. I mean,
Yeah,
that really
it-
helps.
it's always so again, one thing that you can do is you can sign up an account on Cloudflare, and then within Cloudflare, if you set up your domain, there is this section called speed. Just go click on that, and when you do that, it helps you with these things like minification. So Cloudflare minifies everything for you, like the JavaScript, the CSS, the HTML. Then just turn on this Brotli. This is the Brotli compression is an algorithm which Cloudflare uses to compress your traffic. Then turn on the Rocket Loader. And when you do this, you can see an amazing amount of difference in the speed. We can see that now. So by turning all of these on, let's see what the new results look like. I will rerun the test again now.
Can you explain what Cloudflare does if somebody is not familiar with what a CDN is?
So as I told, like CDN is basically used to serve your user the resources from the location that is closest to the user's location. So what Cloudflare does is, suppose you have one logo file. Cloudflare takes that logo file and distributes it to like 200 to 500 data centers that Cloudflare has across the world. So suppose you have someone coming from Australia, what Cloudflare does is, by determining the location of that user, it will find its own server where it has maintained the copy of your logo file. And rather than, so suppose you have your server in the United States, it won't serve it from the USA, but it will rather serve it from its own server closest to the user's location. That's how the entire CDN works. Wow. So you can see with the Rocket with Cloudflare, we brought it down to 1 second.
Wow, that's pretty snappy.
So
I've got another question. Are you okay if we go a little longer, Pratik?
yeah, I'm good. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Just a second.
Yeah. So Ziv, I see your question about your website. So we'll get into that, see if we can offer any tips around that when Pratik gets back. Yeah, speed is a fascinating thing. And if you're watching this and you are, if you feel like it's going over your head, I mean, I remember when I was first getting into websites and WordPress and everything, and then you start throwing around all these words like CDN and caching and all this stuff. It can be, it can get kind of overwhelming and complicated if you're not that technical. But to really slim it down to getting quality hosting, use a caching plugin correctly, using a CDN or making sure your web hosting company does that for you, all those things can have really dramatic results, as well as taking a minimalist approach to plugins.
Yep. So now, sorry, I'm back.
Yeah. So let's see. Ziv had a question. Let me get the chat up here. This is his website. Maybe you could run a speed test on that, but let me find his comment here. He's in Facebook. He was basically saying he doesn't know what to do. He uses the WP Rocket caching plugin. He has SiteGround VPS, 31 plugins. He is using Cloudflare, and he gets his first byte in 7 to 10 seconds. And he's hosted in a European data center.
Wow.
So,
on a European data center?
Yeah.
So let's try with Brussels. But that was unexpected. I've never had a website load in 1 second.
Well, there's not that. Yeah, that's awesome. That site doesn't have that much on it, but yeah, that is cool. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about with relation to speed while we're loading Ziv's site there is images. Like, don't people get themselves in a lot of trouble with these giant image files?
Yep, they do.
Yeah.
So you always need to compress your images. So suppose this is a website that we have built. If you see this website has like images. It
There's a
has
lot
it,
of images. You have a lot of images here.
it has video, and the thing is that this is a photographic website. So you cannot have like low resolution images over here.
Yeah, they have to be good.
Yeah, they have to be good. So you can see that this website has got interactivity. It's got everything, but still we are loading so quick. It's got things like login with Facebook, Google. If you click on forget password, so so you can see that this is pretty much like a website with lots and lots of interactivity, but still this website loads quick because there are certain principles that we have followed while building this website. So all those things that I keep on saying. So yeah, this guy here from Balloon Artist College, yeah, his website loads in like 13.25 seconds.
It sounds like he's doing a lot of things right, though. That's why he's kind of frustrated. He has a VPS. He is caching. He has a CDN.
Uh-huh.
I don't know
Um,
if you
so
could tell.
can you
But
ask him a question?
he did
Um,
say he had 31 plugins, which is a lot.
I don't think that should be a problem. Might be. So did he build this website using any theme, or is this hand coded?
Ziv, he's in the chat on the webinar. It's the Divi theme, he said in chat.
Oh wow. Divi theme. Okay, so that's one from Elegant Themes, I believe.
Yeah, and this is a Divi child theme here.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I think I need to investigate this because it should not take an 8 seconds is like way too much, and that too if he says that he is on a VPS, it sounds way too much. And I have something to comment regarding the user experience. So here you have this image in the background, and here you have a very dull uh, header, and I really cannot read your logo, the Balloon Artist College. So you probably want to either increase the you probably want to take this to so you can so users can see this,
See it better? Yeah.
see it better. Yeah. I so you said that you're using uh, it's really the speed. Yeah. So can you add me as a user to your system, and just like what we did with the website that Chris gave, we can try that with your website too. If you
Here,
want, we can do it right away.
yeah, he'll do it right now. I'm gonna put his email at the bottom of the chat here,
Yeah, I'm
and
doing.
then you're gonna get a live helper. Oh, there you are. Pratik's faster than me at typing. And while that's coming in,
Yep. So you all you have is the issue with the first byte time and nothing else.
yeah. So a
Yeah.
lot of things are going well. It's just the first byte, right?
And so, yeah, he said that he did everything. Might be. Did you ever use uh
Hey,
uh
Ziv, we just put it in the chat. So that's Pratik's email above. And what he's going to do is he's going to log in, take a copy of your site, and put it on his server so he can run his tests.
so what
Oh,
you
I
can
see. There we go. Yeah.
so Ziv, have you ever used any um like what do you say, any other developer, like has any developer worked on this website?
I believe the answer is yes, because he says that.
Maybe I think there's this function in PHP called a sleep function, where you can make your you can add a delay to your PHP website. So I believe that someone that maybe that can be a chance. Someone just made it to sleep for 8 seconds because yeah, maybe we need to check the code for that because 8 seconds of first byte is way too much. I've never ever in my life seen such a thing.
Yeah, he said it used to load at 3.5 seconds, so something changed.
Did the developer change? Let's try to investigate that because lots of developers who get pissed off do things like that.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully that's not the case.
Let's try to. Because your backend is loading really quick, it's just the front end.
So are you able to get in?
Yeah, I'm able to get in. Yeah, I'll start sharing my screen.
Maybe don't show your password there if you may want to stop sharing screen.
It does not.
Oh yeah, there we go.
All right, so no, I think that there is some issue because so are you sure that you're using a SiteGround VPS? Because I have before used SiteGround and SiteGround's shared servers are also really good. So so I'm not sure that you having such a huge issue with this because ideally you should not have this kind of issue because Devi is not such a bad theme. Oh man, so this is kind of um trying to.
What do you mean Ziv by it has 2 school sites on it?
I think he says that there are two WordPress website on that server. So
Oh, I see. Which isn't, it's just 2. It's not that many.
wow, with that kind of server configuration, you should load in like few seconds, like 2 or 3 seconds. So Ziv, what you can do is you can drop me an email to pratik.keila and I can try to replicate the same site on my server and then I can get back to you because you have a pretty big website. So I need some time to play around with it.
Cool. Well, thanks for pulling that up and taking a quick look at it. But Pratik, we're gonna draw our $99 giveaway winner here in just a moment. But as we're approaching near the end of the webinar time here, what are you up to? How can people connect with you?
Emails is best. I always check my emails.
So that's the email is in the chat. That's pratik.gela@pressmate.io. That's pratik.gela@pressmate.io. Any other news about your up and coming hosting opportunity that is focusing on speed? Any like news or what people can expect in the future?
People can expect me to build really fast websites, and we give a free trial. So what we do is we take the websites, we host it on our server, and we give them an opportunity to see how quickly the website loads, and if they are happy with it, they can buy it from us, or else we don't force them to buy our hosting service to try them. So we give them an option to first see what their website looks like, and then they can buy it from us.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And I just want to mention that Paul Crawford is the winner of the free year of a $99 LifterLMS add-on. So
Wow.
congratulations, Paul.
Congratulations, Paul.
You can email us at team@lifterlms.com. And cool. Well, Pratik, I mean, you took my website there and it went from 4.5 seconds to 1 second. That's basically a 4x or 400% speed increase that you did in like relatively short amount of time, which is amazing. And you showed exactly how you did it in this training. So that's really impressive. And thank you for adding so much value and demonstrating your expertise and speed.
And we are also LifterLMS experts. We build like custom LMS websites where you might want to have a custom design, custom functionality. Like right now, we are building a referral program for art and creativity. So what people can do is people can give the referral links, and they get, so anyone who buys something gets the $15 off, and the person who refers them also gets $15. So we are building something like that in LifterLMS using a WooCommerce plugin.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
we are developers ourselves, so we really know how to make good websites that load quick, and the websites are like pretty much long lasting. So the websites that we build don't break in like few months or few years. They last for a lifetime.
That's really cool. That's what I've really enjoyed about getting to know you, Pratik, is that you have strong development skills. You got to focus on speed. You also get design, and you're a brilliant communicator as well and explainer. You know, it's not always easy to talk about complex things like this with audiences of varying skill levels or technical background, and you do a great job with all that. So I just wanted to thank you for coming on this webinar. And if anybody needs some help, you know, reach out to Pratik and his company. I can't wait to see your hosting company and what comes next from you and your team down the road. It's really exciting. Sure. Do you have any other words for the people before we wrap this up?
Be minimal, as you say, and build website that load quick, and remove and make people happy in this world where people are frustrated with slow loading websites. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Pratik. I really appreciate it. Thank you for staying up with us late to do this presentation. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Kathy, thank you for helping organize this, and thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate it. There will be a replay going out. I'd encourage you to watch that again, and also reach out to Pratik if you've enjoyed this. And thank you for all the thank yous in the comments. We've got a stream of thank yous coming in. We really appreciate that. Awesome. Well, Pratik, thank you again and have a great rest of your day.
No problem. See you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye.